So inshallah today we will be beginning with lesson number 5 inshallah. In our previous lesson, for those that weren't here, you can see it on the YouTube inshallah, but just a quick recap. We spoke about fidya, and we spoke about how much the fidya is, and we spoke about who needs to give the fidya. So it was a very important lesson in regards to the masail of fidya. We spoke about how a person who misses a fast, what must he do? He needs to keep the qada, yes? He needs to keep the qada. If you miss a fast in Ramadan, then you need to make up for that fast. You can't just let it go, you can't forget about it. Just how if you miss namaz, if you miss a fajr, then you need to make up for the fajr. You need to pay the qada. With fasting as well, fasting is the same. If you miss a fast in Ramadan, then you need to make up for the fast afterwards. Okay, after Ramadan you need to make up for the fast. And then we spoke about if someone is about to die, or someone is chronically ill, he can't fast completely, then this person, for all the fasts that he would miss, he will need to give fidya. He will need to give fidya. And we spoke about what is the fidya. We said it's less than 2 kg of wheat. It's less than 2 kg of wheat. And of course, in money, that's about 3 pounds. So for fidya, if you're someone that can't fast, then all you will need to do, for example, back home in your back home country, whether it's India, Pakistan or Bangladesh, you just need to give 3 pounds for every fast you missed. But this is specifically for those people, uncle, who cannot fast. And some more detail for that lesson you will find in the previous YouTube channel for lesson number 4. Now in the 5th lesson, we are looking into those things that are allowed and disallowed while you fast. So inshallah, let's crack on and let's look at the questions. The first question we have, what is the ruling of using toothpaste or using miswak? A very common question we might have. What do you think, uncle? Are you allowed to use toothpaste when you fast?
I've heard yes and I've heard no.
What do you think, brother? Simple, yes or what do you think?
I'll be really honest, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay, let me ask you, do you use toothpaste? Do you brush your teeth with toothpaste?
I use toothpaste.
Yeah, after, meaning in the fasting, yeah? During the fast. Meaning, let's say for example, you've prayed Fajr, do you go to sleep after Fajr?
No, I don't sleep.
You don't sleep.
I don't sleep.
So then, do you brush your teeth after, meaning after Fajr, do you brush your teeth? Or do you brush your teeth?
Before Fajr, I brush the teeth.
Before Fajr, you brush your teeth. Do you do it again after Fajr?
No, I don't brush it.
No, it's okay. So, of course, to be on the safe side, to use toothpaste, you don't want to be using toothpaste. But if you want to look more detail, what is the actual answer? Inshallah, we're going to look right now. The answer is, because there is a strong taste in toothpaste, it's very minty, isn't it? Very minty, toothpaste can be. And that taste will most likely is going to reach your stomach. Yeah? If that taste, if it reaches your stomach, then of course your fast will break. Your fast will break. But let's look at the answer that I've given. Because there's a strong taste in toothpaste, just by brushing your teeth, okay? Without it going to your stomach, just by brushing the teeth, the fast will become makruh. The fast will become makruh, okay? And like I said, if the toothpaste reaches the throat and it reaches the stomach, then the fast will break. The fast will become void. So if you use toothpaste, that's it, finished. Because it's got a strong taste, your fast will become what, uncle? Makruh. What does makruh mean? Do you know what makruh means? Do you know what makruh means, uncle? No. Makruh does not mean unacceptable. In Islam, makruh is the term for disliked. Disliked in Islam. An example, smoking. Smoking is makruh. But it's not just makruh, it's makruh tahreem, which means close to haram. Yeah? And then there's just normal makruh. Yeah? For example, Another example, while you do wudu, and if you start talking to the person next to you about, did you go shopping today? Did you go Asda? Did you go Tesco? While you're doing wudu, this makes your wudu makruh. It makes your wudu makruh if you talk about these things. Yeah? So makruh is a term which means disliked. So same with the fast. If you brush your teeth, because the toothpaste has a strong taste, the fast will become makruh. It will get accepted, but it will lose all its blessings. It will become makruh. And if the toothpaste goes to the stomach, because sometimes you might swallow it, yes? And you might swallow your saliva. The saliva is going to have all the toothpaste inside, yes? Then what will happen to your fast? It will become void. And now according to Ahnaf, if you follow what I've written, according to Ahnaf. Now who is Ahnaf? Ahnaf refers to the Hanafi scholars. I myself, I follow the madhab of the Imam Abu Hanifa. I follow the Hanafi madhab. Do you understand? Of course, we believe in the four madhabs. The Shafi'i madhab, the Hanafi madhab, the Maliki madhab, and the Hanbali madhab. I'm sure you've heard of these madhabs. If you haven't, then it's fine. But these are the four main madhabs across the earth. Okay. If I was to tell you really quickly, yes.
We all follow Rasulullah
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Of course, yeah.
So what these you talking about?
So what I'm saying is this is going off a bit topic, but the teachings of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, some of the teachings, they do contradict each other. One hadith might say this, one hadith might say that. Understand? So these scholars, and these scholars are very well renowned, okay? Very well respected, what I'm talking about now. These scholars, they came with their own principles. They put everything into place to make it easy for us. Do you understand?
No, you said you're following somebody.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is Imam Abu Hanifa,
So you don't follow Rasul?
so Imam Abu Hanifa, with his students, they compiled from the ahadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They have the books of ahadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and they've now compiled principles to follow them without contradicting too much against contradicting ahadith. So for example, if I was to tell you as well, in the Masjid al-Haram, in Masjid al-Madinah, in Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they follow the Hanbali madhab. Yes, I'm saying they follow, but reality we are following Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Do you understand? We are following Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's just, what will you do? Ask yourself this, what will you do if you find two hadith contradicting? What are you going to choose? Do you understand? So these scholars have come to make it easy for us, so that we don't, fall into sin. Because a big problem which many people are doing, picking and choosing. They're picking this hadith, and because this hadith maybe suits them, then they pick this hadith because this hadith suits them. But the usul, principles of the hadith might contradict. Do you understand? That's why safe for me and you is if we speak to our local imams, see what is right, what is wrong. Do you understand? Okay, I've got this is a whole complete different subject in regards to aqaid. Okay, but back onto what I was talking about. Okay, according to the Ahnaf scholars. Okay, Ahnaf refers to the scholars in the Hanafi, follow Imam Abu Hanifa. Okay, he was a great Imam. If you actually, if you were to even Google him or YouTube, you will find so much things, mashallah, on him as well. Okay, so according to them, one is allowed to use a miswak. Now we know what miswak is, yes? It's the stick. That it was a sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Something that they used to use, because they never had toothpaste, did they? They never had toothbrushes. They used to use the miswak, okay? So according to Ahnaf, you're allowed to use a miswak, even if it has a bit of a scent. Of course, nowadays you do get some miswaks which have a, smell. You can use it, or you can just use a toothbrush without the toothpaste. Without the toothpaste, you can use a toothbrush, okay? And there is one opinion. Okay, now this is of course going into a bit more detail. If you were to wet the miswak and use it, that can make your fasting makruh. Why do you think, uncle?
You put something in it, might fall it.
Exactly. The water from the miswak, that might go down. Maybe, maybe not. That's why it doesn't break your fast, but it breaks it makruh. It makes it it makes your fast makruh. And makruh, we said, what does makruh mean? Makruh means disliked. It means disliked, okay? And then it even says, one thing you need to be careful about the miswak though, if any piece of the miswak breaks off, because it's like a stick, isn't it? It might break off any piece. If any piece of the miswak breaks off, or the moisture, the wetness from the miswak reaches the throat, then even that can break the fast. So things to remember, easy options. When you use a miswak, make sure it's dry to be on the safe side. Use a dry miswak, okay? Or if you want to wet the teeth a bit and use the dry miswak, make sure, of course, no bits are in your mouth. If there's any bits of the miswak in your mouth, spit it out, okay? Don't swallow it. Or you could just use a toothbrush on its own. Me personally, what I do, I use a toothbrush without the toothpaste. Of course, before Fajr, before I come, no, don't, because of the moisture might go in, isn't it? So what I do, specifically from what I do, before Fajr, before the adhan of Fajr, before the starting of Fajr, I brush my teeth, okay, with toothpaste, yeah?
With toothpaste.
Yeah, before Fajr, before Fajr. And then of course, after Fajr, I might go and I might rest. Yeah, and when I wake up from my rest, then I use toothbrush again without toothpaste. Do you understand? This is safety. It doesn't make your fast makruh, and there's no chance, most likely, of breaking that fast. Huh? Toothbrush. You can, but remember, in regards to the miswak, if any moisture reaches the throat,
But you're doing kulli anyway
afterwards is fine. What I'm trying to say is, the toothbrush, when you're using the toothbrush, you brush your teeth fine, yeah? If there's any saliva, that's why, always to be on the safe side, any saliva after brushing teeth, spit it out.
But after that you're doing kulli.
And then kulli anyway, spit out the kulli. Just make sure you're not swallowing anything. You understand? You want to be on the safe side, you don't want to swallow any water from the toothbrush or any water from doing gargling.
Just on this
Yeah.
about moisture in your mouth. So when you're praying, and you're fasting, your mouth will get full with moisture.
No, that's not moisture. That's not water though. That's saliva.
Yeah.
So saliva has its masail. There's a separate question. I'm not sure if it comes in this lesson. Answer. I'll give you the answer really quickly. Really quick answer for now. Swallowing saliva does not break your fast. Swallowing saliva is, we're not that harsh, uncle. Swallowing saliva is fine. But if someone keeps on doing it purposely, then of course it's a different scenario. Yeah, possibly, yes. Well done, uncle. Makruh, yeah, mashallah. But inshallah, we'll come to the next question now. So this was toothpaste. I don't want to stick around on these questions for too long. But the answer to toothpaste, what's the answer? Yes or no? Should we use it? No. Safety, don't want to use it. Next question, very important question. You want to take a picture quick? Yes, shall I go back? Yeah? Now next question. Very common question as well. Will bleeding from the gums break your fast? Say, you start bleeding from your gums. Huh? Say you decide to brush your teeth. After Fajr, I'm brushing my teeth without a toothpaste. So it's fine, yeah? But all of a sudden, I'm brushing my teeth and my gums start bleeding. There's blood in my gums now, yeah? What happens? Break my fast or not?
No.
A bit more, okay, so, no, but
If you said yes and no, answer is probably no. But then, if you continue bleeding, then maybe.
so you are along the right lines, Uncle, mashallah, along the right lines. But so this answer to this, you gotta kind of see something. So what you gotta see is when the blood is less and not more than the saliva. When the blood is less and not more than the saliva. How will you know when the blood is less? Possibly maybe you can't taste it. Maybe the taste of the saliva is more than the taste of the blood, because blood has a strong taste, doesn't it? Yeah. So when you can't taste the blood as much, yeah, maybe. So realistically, when the blood is less than the saliva, then the fast will not break if you swallow. If you were to swallow that saliva which has been mixed with, let's say, a bit of blood, yeah, that will not, look what I even written as well. And the blood cannot be tasted. So here you got to see that, I can see the blood in my gums, but can I taste blood? I can't taste it. So is it okay for me to swallow this? I can swallow. I can see blood, but I can't taste it in my saliva. I can swallow. But when the blood is same or more than the saliva, now I've got a lot of blood in my mouth, a lot of blood coming out from my gums, okay? And if I was to swallow, I can taste it. I can taste the blood. I can feel it in my throat, and I do swallow. Now, because the blood is same or more, the fast will become broken. The fast will become void. Do you understand? And what will I need to do now? I need to keep qada. I don't need to keep kafara. Remember what kafara is? The 60 days fast. I don't need to do that. I just need to keep qada, okay? Do you understand? So when the saliva is less and you can't taste it, it's fine to swallow. If the saliva is a lot, if the blood is less and you can't taste it in the saliva, it's fine to swallow. If the blood is same or more, and you can actually see you could taste it if you were to swallow, you need to spit it out. Do not swallow. If you swallow, your fast will break. Your fast will immediately break, and you'll need to keep qada. You'll need to keep, make up for it, okay?
And if it's more, you spit it out. But it's
You-
coming.
huh?
So if it's bleeding, even spit it out, sometimes it continues bleeding.
So you just got to be careful. Make sure kulli, and make sure you don't swallow that water. You don't swallow the water and you don't swallow the blood. You keep on spitting it out, okay? You got to make sure you don't feel it in your throat. Once you feel it in your throat, feeling in your throat is more or less, it's reached your stomach. Do you understand? Because you most likely won't be able to bring it up from here.
Take a tissue and try and press it.
If you want to use tissue to dry it out, then that's good as well, as long as you're not eating the tissue. Okay?
I won't be that hungry now.
Now, you'll be surprised. What do you call it? Some of the questions you'll be surprised which are going to come up. Now, there's another thing, of course, when else might the gums bleed? When maybe a tooth comes out, yeah? So if someone pulls out their tooth, yeah? If someone pulls out the tooth, and of course, what's going to automatically come out? Blood. It's going to bleed, right? But as long as the blood from the gums is not swallowed, as long as the blood from the gums is not swallowed, then the fast will remain. So what do we need to remember from here? If there's blood in our saliva and we can taste the blood, spit it out. Do not swallow. Do not swallow. If you swallow, what happens to your fast? Void. It breaks, exactly. And if you pull out your tooth, do not swallow that blood either. Always spit it out, remove it with a tissue or however, okay? And if you want to do gargling, if you want to do kulli, it's fine. Just make sure you don't swallow the water. Does that make sense? Alhamdulillah.
Tooth either.
Huh?
Don't swallow the tooth. The tooth which comes off, don't swallow that.
Allah, of course, he's going to swallow the tooth. Huh? And then keeping on point, like I said, these masail that we're doing today is all about those things which, it's interesting one, it's a good one, those things that break the fast, and those things that maybe don't break the fast, okay? Let's look at the next question, okay? So what doesn't break the fast? If we don't swallow the blood, or the blood is less than the saliva, isn't it? Okay. Next question is, what if a person has food stuck between the teeth before Fajr? For example, let's say you've eaten chana. You've eaten chana. You know what chana is? Where are you from originally, brother? Sri Lanka. So, lentils.
Oh, yeah.
Lentils? Small lentils. So let's say you've eaten that, before Fajr, for Sehri, and now you brush your teeth, yeah? But one of the lentils is stuck between your teeth, and what do you call it? You didn't know about it. You didn't feel it with your tongue, basically. And now, literally, before Fajr, you brush your teeth, you come for the masjid to pray Fajr, and now you can see, literally before Fajr, you can see that the lentil is still, you feel it now. You've seen it in the mirror. I've got a lentil, I've got a chana stuck between my teeth. What happens? What is the outcome? So, listen to this, okay? From before the fast, so let's say the fast hasn't even begun yet. Remember, when does the fast begin, uncle? From what time? From the time of Fajr. So let's say this chana was stuck, from iftari or from suhoor. Let's say the chana got stuck from suhoor, okay? So from before the fast, if there is food stuck between the teeth from before the fast, and after the fast has started, a person realizes, I now realize I've prayed Fajr, and now I realize I've got a chana stuck between my teeth. What should he do? Of course, the normal answer would be, he should spit it out. The common sense is, he should spit it out. But if it is swallowed, if if that chana is swallowed, and as long as, what do you call it? It just happens, maybe accidentally, yeah? If that chana is swallowed, as long as it is smaller, that piece of food that, it might be like or even a string of meat. Sometimes you get meat strings. I'm not talking about cheese strings, I'm talking about meat strings. It happens to me all the time, yeah? You get meat strings stuck between your teeth. As long as it's smaller than a chickpea, as long as that, that piece of food stuck between your teeth, and most likely it will be, yeah, unless you got a big cavity and it's stuck inside. But normally that piece of food, if it's smaller than a chana, in English, a chana is chickpea. It's a chickpea, okay? Yeah, and lentil is dal, isn't it? Okay. So as long as that food that was stuck in your teeth before Fajr, as long as it's smaller than a chana or a chickpea, and you've swallowed it, then the fast will remain. Okay, the fast will be okay. If that piece of food is bigger, if it's bigger than a chana, if you got so many strings of food stuck everywhere in your teeth, yeah, and you swallow all of it, and all of that food is bigger than a chickpea, then the fast will be broken. The fast will not count. Does that make sense? You okay, brother?
Just access for the sisters.
Oh, so just go through that door.
Okay.
And meaning, did you want to open the door for the sisters, you said? So go through this one. I think that one might be locked. Go through this one. Just open the brown door, okay, inshallah?
Okay.
Yeah, inshallah. And then she'll be able to come through. So this is the answer to if there's food stuck between your teeth before Fajr. Let's say, now of course, there shouldn't be any food stuck between your teeth after Fajr. After Fajr there shouldn't be, because you shouldn't even be eating. Yeah, so this food will only be stuck from before Fajr. Do you understand? So then what should you do? Smaller than a chana, smaller than a chickpea, spit it out. But if you swallow it, as long as it's smaller, it's fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, uncle?
But spit
Yeah.
it out, doesn't matter how small it is. If it's swallowed by accident, then
If you feel, I'm going to tell you this, okay? If you take it out, and sometimes, I'll be honest, right now, in my immediate reaction to taking something, using my tongue to take out of my teeth, my immediate reaction was swallowing. If you do that, then your fast won't break. But then of course that might actually break your fast, isn't it? Because you've literally removed it from your mouth.
I'm hungry, let's eat it.
Exactly. But if it happens like an immediate reaction, because it's like muscle memory, isn't it? We do stuff out of reaction. It might come out, and then it just immediately you'll just swallow, because of the so much saliva that gets created in your mouth. That won't break your fast, okay? But it needs to be smaller than a chickpea. If it's bigger than a chickpea, then it will break your fast, okay?
Yeah.
That question simple. Next question: what is the ruling of inhaling smoke, or even steam, or even dust, or even fumes? Fumes like from any kind of machinery fumes, okay? Exactly. You're walking and there's fumes coming out. Exactly. So what's the answer? What is the answer for inhaling this kind of stuff, or even like smoke from? So smoke could be like, for example, a typical answer. Let's say someone's smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden the smoke from the cigarette, or even from a fire. Like you've lit in a fire, and the smoke comes, or even after boiling a kettle, the steam or the dust, dust in the air, or fumes from outside from a factory or something. What is the ruling? If you do this, does it break your fast? Does it not break your fast? If one does so deliberately, if you go up to a kettle and take in the steam on purpose, if you're doing it deliberately, in any of these cases, or even deliberately inhaling the smoke from a fire, then this will break the fast. It will break the fast. Remember, these things, you don't need to keep kafara, uncle. You just need to keep qada. Because remember, kafara, if you remember, what was kafara for? Kafara was, but here I'm doing something deliberately though. So what was kafara for? Kafara was when you deliberately eat something. You eat something which is food. If I deliberately eat a chocolate, or I deliberately drink a glass of Fanta.
Oh, I thought it was also deliberately breaking the fast as well.
Huh?
I thought it was also deliberately breaking, saying, "Oh, I'm going to break it off," for whatever, any reason. If you break it for ungenuine reason.
Yeah, ungenuine reason. But of course, how am I going to break my fast? By eating something, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if I just say, "Oh, I'm going to break my fast," but I don't, that doesn't break my fast. Just by saying it, by doing the action, it breaks your fast. So if I deliberately eat something which is food, like a chocolate, but steam, smoke, is that something which is consumable? Is steam or smoke something which is consumable? Something which is normally food? No. But if I do that deliberately, I won't need to keep kafara, but I will need to keep the qada, okay? Because deliberately inhaling smoke, deliberately inhaling steam, dust or fumes, this will break the fast. Do you have a question?
You know, when Ramadan starts, you know, the fasting starts, on first couple of days, it happens automatically. You know, it's not deliberately.
What?
Like, you drink water. I'm like, you don't know, it just happens.
So you mean, so you're saying accidentally?
Yeah. I'm like, you know, first like, and then you, oh my God, like that.
And then you remembered, I'm fasting.
I'm fasting.
So then
What's that? Is that?
So this question is going to come up as well. I could give you the answer now.
No, the question comes then. We wait for that.
It might not come up today, it might come up next Sunday. Are you going to be here next Sunday?
Yeah, I'm always here.
Please be here, inshallah. I don't want to give it away right now. Do you know what? Just in case you're not, I'll tell you, if you eat accidentally and then you remember your fasting doesn't break. Fasting doesn't break. If you eat accidentally, your fasting does not break. Did you know that?
Yeah, because the first couple of days or 3-4 days.
People in the hadith, it actually comes, the Prophet said, because this is actually Allah who's made you eat. Allah is the one that made you eat. Do you understand? Yeah? So very important, very important. Some people think, I've done it myself as well in the past. Some people think, I ate by accident. My fasting is broken now. No, it's not broken. Because you ate by accident, you forgot that you are fasting, you're in the state of fasting, this does not break your fast. If now I ate by accident and think, that's it, I might as well take another bite, then your fast is broken. So remember, eating accidentally, it does not break your fast.
People affected me, they sat on the dining table, and he was the only one fasting, sat there with everybody else, eat the whole meal, and said, oh my God, I'm fasting.
I mean, as long as he remembered afterwards, his fasting is still okay. You understand? But that's a question that's going to come up. I want to try and finish the question that I've got for Uncle, because he needs to leave. So as I said, if you inhale it deliberately, then only the fast will break. You will need to do the qada. Do you understand? Okay. So it can be the smoke from fire, or it can be from burning incense sticks. You know the incense sticks that you get? Yeah, my mum, she burns them quite frequently at home as well. You know, just to make the house smell a bit different. Yeah, mombatti, that's what it's called, mombatti. So from the incense sticks, it could be, if I was to go up to those sticks in Ramadan and take a big sniff and make it, Imran Bhai is getting different ideas. Yeah, well, this will break my fast, okay? Or it can be the steam from cooking.
Well, I think that's wrong, you know, because cooking starts before the...
Exactly. So if you start... Exactly.
What are you cooking, you know?
Meaning, if I just walk into the kitchen and, you know, there's smells, you know, if I just take, you know, even the fume, like, smelling it is fine, it doesn't break, but if I literally go up to the pot and start, you know, inhaling it constantly, then this will break my fast, okay? So, you know, the steam from cooking or boiling water, or the dust on the floor, or the fumes from a deodorant, okay? If I inhale any of those deliberately, literally, I put my nose to it, this will break my fast, okay? If the fumes, smoke, dust or steam, it enters on its own without me having to do anything, without me, you know, having to go up to it, if it just enters unintentionally without, you know, me having any intention to inhale it, then the fast will remain. The fast will not break. So if you do it deliberately, it will break the fast. Does that make sense? Okay. Now then.
What about the lady cooking?
Huh?
What about the lady who's cooking the meal, you know, for Islami, and she needs to know how much salt and how much, you know.
So there's even a whole masla on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say it quickly. If a lady's husband has temper problems, no, it's a masala, uncle. If a lady's husband has a temper problem, and she knows that if my husband doesn't get good iftari, something bad's gonna happen, only she's allowed to taste the food. Just not swallow it, taste it.
Just taste it.
Otherwise she shouldn't.
But a chef in a hotel,
Who's fasting?
yeah.
He shouldn't taste it.
Why, you're gonna change your job from an accountant to a chef?
No, I was the chef that became a accountant.
Huh? No, he shouldn't because he's fasting.
But
And he's not cook. He's not cook. He unless he's scared of his wife.
no.
Then
But you said all about consuming it. So if you put it on
but tasting that will make him makruh, isn't it?
right.
That will make your fast makruh. The only lady who's allowed to taste is a lady whose husband has anger problems. You know, he's going to be furious if his iftar. No. Generally, of course, Allah has made us all differently. It can happen. Only this woman is allowed to taste the food. Just taste. Otherwise, you know, if you taste it for no reason, this can make your fast makruh. It can even break your fast. You understand? Okay. But on this question, what is the ruling again about smoke? No, not a smoke, but fragrance. Okay. What is the ruling of inhaling fragrance? You know, for example, itar. When you put on itar, yeah. Does itar have smoke like air, like you know deodorants? Deodorants have smoke, don't they? They have fumes. But does it have smoke? No, it's just the smell, isn't it? So what is the ruling of inhaling fragrance? What is the ruling of inhaling fragrance that does not produce smoke? This will not break the fast, even if it is done deliberately. If you keep on smelling the itar, it will not break the fast. Why? Because the itar doesn't have any smoke. It doesn't have any fumes, does it? So smelling itar does not break the fast. The same, like I said, the same rule applies for itar, okay? This is because there is no smoke from the fragrance, and there is no visible particles. There is no visible particles that will enter the throat from the perfume or from the itar. Does that make sense? Okay? Let's look at another thing, the Vicks. You know, of course, I use it sometimes. You know, Vicks, when I have a sore throat, I'll put so much on my throat to, so, you know, help with my breathing. So Vicks, what's the ruling in regards to Vicks, okay? The use of Vicks and inhaling it, will not break the fast, okay? The use of Vicks and inhaling it will not break the fast if you put it on your throat, but you should avoid applying it on the nose, because that's direct, isn't it? Putting it on the nose. If you put it on your throat, it's fine. But if you put it on your nose, you should avoid it, yes?
Brushing the teeth, I know.
We literally done that. Question.
I'll get it off.
Yeah, Uncle Umar, you're going to tell you. No, do you know, after the lesson I'll tell you, okay? After the lesson I'll tell you. So Vicks as well, it's fine because Vicks, it doesn't have any fumes, does it? It doesn't have any smoke. So if I put Vicks on my throat, it's fine, but I don't want to put it on my nose. Just put it on your throat, yeah.
So applying deodorant is avoid.
No, applying deodorant is fine.
No, like the spray.
Yeah, I can apply it. If I now start, this will make my thingy. This will break my fast. But I can apply it, and unintentionally, if I smell it, because of course I'm going to smell it, this is fine. But if the answer was deliberately spraying, this is what you call deliberate. Spraying here and just smelling it, this isn't deliberate. Spraying it into your nose, this is deliberate. This will break your fast. Do you understand? Spraying it on your body is fine. Yeah? Cooking water, boiling water, and if the steam just goes in my face, or for example, let's say you're boiling in a pan, what happens when you remove the lid? Huh? What happens? It comes, isn't it? If I just do it and it comes in my face, the steam comes into my face, that won't break my fast. But if that will break my fast. Do you understand? So this was and in regards to fragrance or itar, which has no smoke. It has no particles, visible particles. Even if I smell this deliberately, it won't break my fast.
Because fragrance does have particles.
And some of them do. You know, like the sprays, they have, but some of them don't. Like itar doesn't.
It is, but he's talking about spray, underarm
Yeah,
spray.
underarm spray. But like I said, the question was if you inhale it not deliberately, undeliberately, it's fine. If you inhale it deliberately, then it will break your fast. Does that make sense, inshallah? Okay. Now the next question we have, what is the ruling of inhaling oxygen? Now this is a very, you would think, what would you think? Inhaling oxygen. You know how we breathe right now?
No, it'd be wrong.
Huh?
Inhaling oxygen would be wrong.
Will it break your fast?
Yeah.
Then how are you going to survive?
No, I thought you meant go in the hospital and they put it.
No, mashallah, uncle is thinking one step ahead. inhaling oxygen normally, it doesn't break your fast. But look at this. If one,
You can't fast.
but no, let's look at the question. Let's look at the answer. If one is made to inhale oxygen due to any breathing difficulty, this won't happen this won't happen, for a person at home. This will happen specifically for a person who's in hospital. Yes, who's
He's rushed off to hospital with that asthma attack.
yeah. Oh yeah, he's rushed off to hospital. Yeah, and he has an oxygen tank. He has an oxygen tank at home, and he needs to use it sometimes. Yeah. What's the ruling of that kind of inhaling oxygen? Let's see quickly. If one is made to inhale oxygen due to any breathing difficulty, then this will not break the fast as long as there is no medicine combined with the oxygen. So if it's pure oxygen in the tank, then it won't break the fast. Because of course, what are we doing right now? We're inhaling oxygen, yes? Alhamdulillah, our body is made by such. The air that we breathe is not just oxygen, it has so many other things inside. I believe nitrogen as well, and even carbon dioxide.
So if you have an asthma attack,
If you have an asthma attack,
but they don't just give you oxygen, they also give you nebulizer in it.
so there's medicine inside. So look at this, like I said, if there is medicine or any substance combined with the oxygen, then the fast will be nullified. The fast will break. You only need to keep the fast. You don't need to keep kafara. Don't get scared. You don't need to keep kafara. You just need to keep the qada. Qada means to make up for it. Yeah? So you just need to keep the kafara. So if it's pure oxygen that you're inhaling, fine. But if it's mixed with medicine, then it will break the fast. Does that make sense? Okay? And on this, what else? When you think of inhaling oxygen, what else? You're talking about asthma. What's the ruling of an asthma inhaler? Huh? Is a person allowed to use an asthma inhaler? Is he allowed? Is he not allowed? Look at the answer. The fast will break. You said not allowed. So yes, the fast will break. It's not allowed. Why? Because there is medicine in the inhaler. There is medicine in the inhaler, and in the medicine, it will reach the stomach. It will reach the stomach. Even though it is less, it will still reach the stomach, okay? But what should one do? Say, I have to use an inhaler and I'm fasting.
Then I would use it.
Yeah, I'd use it, but what should I do? Out of the respect of the month of Ramadan, you should continue to fast. You should continue to fast.
Taking my spray.
Yeah, even after taking the spray, even though the fasting is broken now, and maybe if I can, I'll keep the fast on a shorter day, because short days, I can survive without using the inhaler. But let's say I can't even fast on shorter days. Let's say I have to use the inhaler every 2-3 hours. Let's say fasting is impossible for me to do without the inhaler. What would you do? You can either keep the qada later, or you can give the fidya. You can give the fidya. Remember, we said fidya was like that, the payment. And we said it was from last lesson, Uncle, you weren't here. Last lesson we learnt fidya is like, money-wise is £3 each fast. For a person that can't fast, he needs to give £3 in sadaqah, to miskeen or the faqir. Okay? So this is the answer. Because there's medicine in the inhaler, the fast will break. But what should he do? He should continue to fast, and he should keep it later, the qada later on a shorter day, or if you can't even do that, he should give the fidya. This is the preferred opinion. This opinion is the one which is preferred by majority of the scholars. So there's no one answer to this. There's actually a few answers. But this answer that I've just said is the one which is the most accepted. Another answer is that the fast will be valid. Another answer is that the fast will be valid. Why? Because the medicine in the inhaler is very less. It's very less. That's another opinion. And the third, the fast will be valid, but he should keep the qada later. He should still keep qada just in case. Okay? So the third opinion, fast will be valid, but he should keep the qada later without using the inhaler. Or if it is not possible to fast without the inhaler, give the fidya. So there's 3 opinions. The most lenient one is the number 2, where it says the fast will be valid. And the most safest one is number 1, where the fast will not be valid. Do you understand? So these are the 3 opinions to fasting.
Because it says, keep qada without the inhaler. He will only take it because
So one of them, look.
You would not
I
fasted qada fast, next day. Ramadan, whatever kind of thing, after Ramadan, of course. And I might need an inhaler.
Exactly.
Inhaler, that's the thing, you don't know.
No, you don't know, it's true. So let me tell you this, okay? So in a nutshell, one opinion, it doesn't matter. Fasting is still okay. The second opinion, fasting is okay, but give fidya just in case. And the third opinion is fasting is not okay. And if you can't fast, without the inhaler, then give fidya. These are the three opinions. The next question, vomiting. Does vomiting intentionally or accidentally break the fast? Okay, so if you vomit intentionally or accidentally, does it break the fast? Now we've learned, we know about, in wudu, in wudu, one of the breakers of wudu is what? We know about going to the toilet, that breaks your wudu, yes? Passing wind breaks your wudu. Bleeding breaks your wudu. Vomiting a mouthful breaks your wudu. Yeah? So if you vomit a mouthful that you can't keep it inside, breaks your wudu. But if you vomit a little bit, yeah, that it doesn't, you can actually end up swallowing it back down, this doesn't break your wudu. Okay? But what's the answer when it comes to fasting? Does vomiting intentionally or accidentally break the fast? So whether it's a mouthful or less, whether it's a bit or whether it's a lot, if a person vomits accidentally, yeah, unintentionally, like it just comes out,
Sometimes you burp.
yeah, sometimes you burp or sometimes you're feeling a bit sick, yeah, and you vomit a mouthful, you vomit so much or you vomit a less, the fast will remain. Fast will be okay. It won't break the fast, okay, if you vomit, if you vomit. But if you vomit deliberately, how does someone vomit deliberately? Maybe sticking his finger down his throat. This is vomiting deliberately, isn't it? Sticking your finger down your throat. If a person vomits deliberately, then he must keep qada. If he vomits deliberately, then he must keep qada. But when the vomit is only a bit, now the difference comes in here, yeah? When he vomits a lot, he'll need to keep qada. But when the vomit is less than a mouthful, what do I mean by less than a mouthful? He can control it in his mouth, meaning, it's not, forcing coming out. It's only a bit. When it's less than a mouthful, it won't break according to Imam Abu Yusuf. And who is Imam Abu Yusuf? Imam Abu Yusuf was one of the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. Remember we spoke about Imam Abu Hanifa? Imam Abu Yusuf was one of the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. And where did they get these opinions from? Where? They got it from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and from their proofs. You understand? Because everyone had their own proof. Okay. So when it's less than a mouthful, and if you do it deliberately, okay. So when you do it accidentally, you don't need to worry. But when you do it deliberately, if it's less, it's fine. But Imam Muhammad, who's a different student, he says it will be void. But let's go to the preferred opinion. Preferred opinion: if it's a bit, fasting is fine. If it's a lot and you do it and you've done it deliberately, if you vomit a lot and you've done it purposely, then that will break your fast, okay? And if you swallow the vomit, which is a bit, you don't want to be thinking about this, but if you swallow it deliberately, whether it's less or a mouthful, then the fast will break. And this is, of course, swallowing it after you've made it come out deliberately. If you swallow it after it's come out accidentally, then it's fine. You don't need to worry about it. So if it's done accidentally, you don't need to worry about it. You're safe. If you start vomiting on purpose, then you put yourself into a hole. How do you dig yourself out of it? If it's a bit, it's fine, and as long as you haven't swallowed it, yeah? If it's a lot, then this will break your fast. Do you understand? And the next question we have is, what if one swallows the saliva? Uncle, you had this question, didn't you? What if one swallows the saliva? Swallowing the saliva does not break the fast. Simple, okay? Swallowing the saliva does not break the fast. However, if a person, continuously creates saliva in his mouth, it is makruh. So it is makruh to collect the saliva in your mouth and swallow it deliberately. You don't want to continuously do it. If it happens naturally, it's fine. Okay?
Because sometimes you can't talk, your throat is so dry,
Yeah.
and you're eating and things like that.
Yeah, it's fine.
He knows what I'm talking about. You don't make it, but you're just trying to open your throat, otherwise you can't talk.
So if it's like if it's natural saliva in your mouth, but some people like they'll try to, create the saliva in your mouth, collect it all together and swallowing it. This will make your fast makruh. Yeah?
Allah know what you're doing.
Huh?
Allah know what you're
Exactly. As long if it's just natural. And look at this one. Let's say, for example, you've had pan. Huh? I think Bashir is a big pan eater, yeah? Say you had pan in Bengali, we call it, we call it in Bengali? Fan. Yeah, we call it fan. So let's say, what do you call it? You've had pan, and of course, after having pan, you've gargled your mouth, but sometimes pan, it can still make the inside of your mouth a bit red, isn't it? Huh? Yeah, and sometimes you can maybe even stain the color of your saliva. Yeah, so after even having gargled thoroughly, if the color of the saliva is red, yeah, and you swallow that saliva, it's fine. Yeah, because you've gargled, haven't you? You've got rid of, the pan taste in your mouth. But even after that, the pan still leaves that color behind, and now your saliva is red. But if you swallow that saliva, as long as it's natural swallowing, that's fine. If you're collecting the saliva, it doesn't break your fast, but it makes your fast. What does it make your fast, uncle? It makes your fast makruh. And swallowing the wetness, and another thing as well, some people, even I used to be a bit, afraid of this. After gargling my mouth, sometimes you still feel the mouth is a bit wet inside, isn't it? And sometimes I used to spit it out. I wanted to be safe. But then I learned this mas'ala, that swallowing the wetness that remains after washing the mouth, that does not break the fast. So swallowing the wetness, that remains after washing the mouth does not break the fast. So from that mas'ala we learn, swallowing, saliva, naturally does not break the fast. Now what is the ruling of chewing pan, tobacco, or even gum, like chewing gum? What is the ruling? I'll say this one really quickly. Usually, chewing in general will not break the fast. So general chewing, so whatever you're chewing, this naturally, uncle, will not break the fast. However, in this case, it will nullify the fast, especially because, of course, chewing can have taste, isn't it? Like chewing gum, it has taste to it. It has that minty taste, or whatever taste it has, chewing gum will break the fast, okay? Even though the tobacco, or the pan, or the gum is actually chewed, and you're not really eating it, are you? But the flavor of it, the flavor of the gum, the flavor of the pan, the flavor of the tobacco, it reaches the stomach. And because it reaches the stomach, it will break the fast. Does that make sense? And what will a person need to do? In this instance, a person will not just need to keep the qada, uncle, and listeners, a person will also need to keep the kafara. Okay?
Also, at all, isn't it? It's not qada and kafara, it's kafara, isn't it?
No, qada is 1 day and the kafara is a 60. So you need to keep 61.
61?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, no, 60 together, and that one he can keep whenever. Do you understand? And let me just try and finish off with this question. What if one puts medication in his ears? I'll keep this one as the last one. What if a person puts medication in his ears? Medication, oil or water in the ears. I think this is actually one of the opinions. Okay, medication in the or the oil or water in the ears, it will break the fast. But this is when the eardrums are perforated, which means has a hole. Okay, I think this is like, but generally the eardrums don't really have, they're not really perforated, I believe. Okay, this is because why? Because when the eardrums are perforated, the medication or the water or the oil, it will reach the brain, and this will break the fast. If there is no hole in the eardrum, then simple, this will not break the fast, inshallah. Okay? Is that okay? Uncle, what I'm going to do, Uncle, I've just got a couple of slides left. I'm just going to carry on. Is that fine? Okay? And the next question, can one use a nasal spray? You know the nasal sprays you use for your nose. Can a person use that or any medication in the nose while he fasts? Using a nasal spray or medication in the nose, of course, what will it do? It will break the fast. Why? Because the medication, because of course the nose and the throat is all connected, isn't it? So if you put something in the nose, it's going to reach the throat. So using anything in the nose, medication, it will break the fast. What about What about the mucus? Sometimes you can get mucus in your, phlegm in your throat. What if you swallow that? Swallowing the mucus in the nose does not break your fast. So swallowing the mucus in your nose, it does not break your fast. What if, the next one, what if one uses eye drops or surma? Of course, surma, if you use or eye drops, does that break your fast in the month of Ramadan? So medication or surma in the eyes or even eye drops, okay, according to the books that I researched, they will not break the fast. They will not break the fast using eye drops, even if it's felt in the throat. Because we learnt from hadith that the Prophet ﷺ used to use surma in the month of Ramadan. It was fine. So, using surma or using eye medication does not break the fast. According to Hanabila, remember this was another school of thought. We spoke about Ahnaf and Hanabila. If the medication, according to them, and this is a bit more safe, to be honest, this opinion is safe. According to them, if the medication or surma is felt in the throat, or that it's reached the throat, then of course your fast will break. But this is according to Hanabila. According to our opinion, fasting is fine after using surma, even if you feel it in your throat. But if you want to be safe, avoid it, because it might reach your throat. Do you understand? Wearing contact lenses, keeping in line with inserting things in your eyes, even using contact lenses, will that break your fast? No. Using contact lenses will not break your fast. That brings us to the end of the 5th lesson, inshallah, and we will carry on with the 6th lesson next Sunday. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq to act upon these masail and stay away from those things which break our fast. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.